Kicking off today's MLB coverage, the Yankees are still in a desperate struggle to land Tarik Skubal from the Tigers. A king's ransom has reportedly been offered, but it seems the Tigers glanced at the proposal and said, "Not bad, but we need more." We're going to dive deep into that. Meanwhile, the Giants are making moves all over the league. They've just secured a brand new center fielder and are now pushing to lock down a new second baseman before opening day arrives. And this guy is the real deal. Later in the show, we absolutely have to cover Andrew McCutchen completely unleashing on the Pirates. Seriously, check out his tweet. The man wrote a novel, so there is a ton to get into today. But before we do, a quick word for everyone who hasn't subscribed yet. This could be a historic day for the channel. We are on the verge of hitting 600,000 subscribers and 1 billion views. Let's smash 600K and a billy all in one day. I appreciate you all more than you know. Thank you for making this possible. Now let's get into the game. And seriously, hit that subscribe button this very second. First on the docket, I need to talk about the San Francisco Giants' newest addition in center field, Harrison Bader. If you ask me, this is a match made in heaven. I honestly thought he was destined for Cleveland, but alas, $20.5 million. That figure is just completely out of the Guardians' price range. So Bader inks a 2-year deal for $20.5 million. And let me tell you, I think this is a phenomenal signing because he absolutely exploded for the Phillies last year after they acquired him mid-season. You'll remember that in about 50 games for Philadelphia during the second half, Harrison batted .305 with an .825 OPS. Now, whether he can sustain that production over an entire season remains to be seen. He is getting past his physical peak. However, despite that, he still launched 17 home runs, maintained a .350 on-base percentage, and, of course, being Harrison Bader, he is guaranteed to deliver some of the most elite defensive metrics of any outfielder in baseball. His record showed 7 outs above average. And even though his prime years are behind him, he's still ranked in the top 15% for both sprint speed and arm strength. The man is without a doubt still one of the most athletic and gifted defenders in the entire league. When you look at the Giants' projected batting order, you can now construct a lineup featuring Elliot Ramos, Rafael Devers-Will, Thomas Matt Chapman, Young-Hoo Lee, Harrison Bader, and the 6-foot rookie phenom Bryce Eldridge. And in my book, Casey Schmidt is a seriously underrated player. I have a feeling he's poised for a major breakout very soon. Let's not forget Patrick Bailey, who was incredible in the final stretch of last season. While this might not be the top lineup in the National League or even its own division if Young-Hoo Lee avoids injury, and Bader can produce a .330 on base with 10 to 15 homers, this Giants team will be leagues better than they were last year. But here's the kicker. Do you recall what I mentioned in the introduction? They're making moves from every angle. I mean that literally. They just added the right-handed Harrison Bader and now they're reportedly targeting a lefty. Whispers suggest that CJ Abrams has been directly in the Giants' crosshairs within the last couple of days. And the rumor mill has been surprisingly accurate this offseason. There was talk of Freddie Peralta being dealt about 10 to 15 hours before the trade actually happened. That same rumor specifically named Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams as the return package. It was 100% spot on. So yes, some of these rumors absolutely hold water. To reiterate, the Giants are hunting for a significant upgrade at second base. And while I'm a fan of Casey Schmidt's potential, his defense is a major liability. Then again, CJ Abrams is also notoriously unreliable with the glove dot model, but judging him so harshly might be a mistake. CJ has every tool necessary to become a defensive force at second, mirroring the exact transformation of Xavier Edwards. He made the leap from a troubled shortstop into one of the most dependable gloves the Marlins had at second base. The analytics are absolutely brutal. CJ is sitting at a devastating negative -46 outs above average on defense. He should be on the phone with Bobby Witt Jr.'s fielding guru immediately because you have to remember, Bobby was considered one of the worst defensive players in the entire league his rookie year. Now he's at an astounding 53 outs above average a swing, from -11 to 53 in just 3 years that defies all logic. But let's be honest with CJ Abrams, what truly matters are his electrifying power and his game-breaking speed. You can essentially lock him in for 30 or more doubles and a near-guaranteed 20 home runs. And his presence on the base paths is a constant threat. He'll swipe anywhere from 30 to 40 bags every single year, an unheard-of level of production for a middle infielder. And the terrifying part is he's only 25 years old, which means his ceiling is still rising. If this deal happens, it would be the second time he's been traded. Recall that he was a key piece in that monstrous Juan Soto deal a few years back. And remember, the whispers about the last big trade were dead on. That deal proved the sources were legitimate, so it's alarming when you realize the Giants have a glaring, desperate need for an upgrade at second base. And as for the Nationals, one look at their lineup tells the whole story. To all the Nationals fans out there, I hate to say it, but beyond the brilliance of James Wood and CJ Abrams and that one unbelievable hot streak, a repeat performance of that seems impossible. Dylan Cruz has yet to truly arrive. Luis Garcia continues to tease greatness before falling back to earth, and then there's the rest. Keibert Ruiz, Brady House, Jacob Young. It's simply not a lineup that inspires any fear. There is nothing intimidating about it, and the Nationals are in the deepest phase of a complete teardown. So with arbitration looming and his price tag about to explode, moving him for a massive return is the only logical play. And for a team like the Giants, he is the absolute perfect target. But that's not the only earth-shattering rumor making the rounds. This next one is a monster, potentially one of the most significant trades in the last few decades, because Tarik Skubal is a true titan, and the team in pursuit, the Yankees, are desperately trying to reclaim their position as the undisputed pinnacle of Major League Baseball. The Dodgers have ripped that crown away from them, and the Yankees see Tarik Skubal as the weapon they need to seize it back. According to the very latest intelligence, there is a colossal trade package being discussed built around Ben Rice, the rookie who took the league by storm, and a prized young prospect named George. That would be George Lombard Jr. And yes, that is the correct pronunciation. This kid's swing is pure art, but we'll circle back to him because Ben Rice is the first pillar of this proposed trade. He's turning 26 in February, and he wields some of the most ferocious raw power in the game, matched with one of baseball's most disciplined plate approaches. You can completely disregard the batting average, because he is a barrel-finding machine who produces some of the most violent exit velocities in the entire sport. Furthermore, his on-base skills are elite, born from a refusal to chase bad pitches, which forces pitchers into his wheelhouse. But on top of all that, he can also get behind the plate and catch. That level of versatility is a staggering gift for the Tigers, who would also be acquiring that other young arm in the deal. He is on the verge of turning 25 years old. His rookie season was the stuff of legend, with an ERA under 3, a rate of 10.5 strikeouts per 9, and that historic 8-inning shutout performance against the Red Sox in the playoffs, where he notched 12 strikeouts without issuing a single walk. The absolute ceiling for a talent like this is prime Astros-era Garrett Cole. Of course, that brings up the lingering questions about any sticky stuff involvement. But that aside, the final piece reportedly in this package at this very moment is George Lombard Jr. So at just 20 years old, the sky's the limit for his power. But make no mistake, he's far from a finished product. From every scout's perspective, the kid is a phenom in the field, a world-class athlete whose instincts are already off the charts. He racked up over 35 stolen bases in consecutive seasons. And that swing, my God, it's flawless. This young man is destined for greatness. Ben Rice, Cam Schlittler, and George Lombard Jr., that's a king's ransom. And yet the Tigers declared it wasn't nearly enough. They said, we'd likely need Spencer Jones thrown in. Our outfield is looking a little thin. I mean, that is a monumental offer to just walk away from, especially for a player like Tarik, who's just a short-term gamble. So what other piece could the Tigers possibly be after? Well, the rumors are swirling that it's Spencer Jones they're targeting either as part of that package or as a swap for Ben Rice, because Detroit is still incredibly high on their own young corner prospects. Now it's true that Spencer Jones tumbled out of the top 100 prospects after a disappointing 2024 season. And I say disappointing with heavy air quotes because the man was still a force to be reckoned with. He crushed 30 doubles, blasted 17 homers, and swiped 25 bags. But that came with a staggering nearly 40% strikeout rate. His rate of swings and misses, especially on pitches right down the middle, is among the most alarming I've ever witnessed. But then came his redemption in 2025. The strikeouts were still an issue, but this man is a physical marvel. He's one of the most physically imposing figures in the entire sport. He launched 35 home runs and stole 29 bases. And his OPS, let's just call it a spectacular 935. That is simply mind-blowing for a player of his colossal size who is, by the way, still just learning to play the outfield. He came up through the ranks as a first baseman. He hunts down fly balls with surprising speed. He's a giant, and he has a rocket launcher attached to his shoulder. Adding Spencer Jones to Ben Rice, Cam Schlittler, and George Lombard Jr. would be one of the most staggering trade returns I've ever witnessed. Now, don't misunderstand me. Skubal is absolutely worth a franchise-altering return. But the terrifying reality is that Tarik Skubal is on the verge of free agency. You would be mortgaging your entire future for a player who could just walk away. And for the Yankees, the wound from the Yamamoto situation is still fresh. He arrived and just as quickly he was gone. But Tarik, he's still only 29 years old. I know he might look more seasoned, but he just turned 29, meaning he could have another 7 to 8 years of absolute dominance left in him. I mean, look at the legends we've seen: Defy Age, Chris Sale, Zach Wheeler, Jacob deGrom. Even with his injury history, we just watched him put on a clinic at 37 and 38 years old. And you have to mention Justin Verlander, who at 40 years old and beyond was absolutely incredible in the final stretch for the Giants. I'm convinced that Skubal has nearly a full decade remaining as one of the most elite arms in all of baseball. So after all that, I have to turn the question over to all of you. I need to hear from you. Would you want your team to pull the trigger on a trade for Tarik Skubal, knowing he could just be a rental? And if the answer is yes, what's the price? What would that blockbuster package look like? What kind of offer would make the Tigers finally stop and say, okay, now you have our attention, even with his contract expiring? So I want you to step into the general manager's shoes in the comments section below. And also, while you're down there, once again, subscribe. All right, let's pivot and talk about Andrew McCutchen. Sort of. Okay, let's just get right to the tweet. Essentially, Andrew McCutchen was replying to a post I think that was discussing his own future. The post argued that he's essentially already had his swan song, that the Pirates already did right by him by bringing him back for these last couple of years, and that this was his farewell tour because all the reports indicate they have no plans to re-sign him. He won't even be at the 2026 Pirates Fest. And even if he were there, just think back to his name card from the 2025 event. They couldn't even spell his name right. This is one of the most celebrated players in the history of the franchise. Andrew himself said, I have to wonder, did the Cardinals do this to Wainwright Pujols or Yachty the Dodgers to Kershaw, the Tigers to Miggy? The list of legends treated with respect is endless. If this is truly my last year, he wrote, it would have been wonderful to meet the fans one final time as a player. I'm not sure if he's talking about FanFest or just playing on the field. Perhaps something like a one-day contract. I don't know exactly what he had in mind, but the message is heartbreakingly clear he wants to return to the Pirates. He is desperate for that final meaningful moment with the fans. He continued saying, this is bigger than baseball, bigger than analyzing a 40-man roster and cherry-picking statistics that support your agenda or validate your own opinion. And I understand the emotion he's conveying. But ironically, for years, all we've done is criticize the Pirates because they refuse to improve. So now that they are finally making an effort to get better, it becomes a problem for McCutchen. But I truly see his point. I'm not trying to attack Andrew here. The Pirates are genuinely trying to build a better team. And Andrew's primary value now is hitting left-handed pitching. That's really the long and short of it. But the fans at the absolute minimum deserve the chance to say goodbye. I don't know what the future has in store for me right now, he said, but I do know that I'm 39 years old in the twilight of my career. I still grind every single day to be better than I was the year before. If that burning passion to continue this fight wasn't still there, I would already be at home surrounded by my family and no one would question or be shocked by that decision. But not yet. There's still work to do. I'm not done. No matter what label you try to brand me with, no matter if you rip this jersey off my back, man, that gets me fired up. Andrew, let's go. You do not get to write my future. God does. So I truly believe at this stage that the Pirates still have room for Andrew McCutchen. The GM has basically stated they're looking for bullpen depth. Maybe that means a guy like a treasurer or something along those lines. But I also think they have space for one more position player. And I honestly like the fit for Andrew McCutchen with this Pirates team, even though he's going to have his difficulties against righties. And on the defensive side even, though he's been serviceable when they've sent him out there in recent years, historically his defense has not been his strength. My ultimate take on this, listen, as a Guardians fan, I would be thrilled to have him. He would be the ideal veteran presence in that young Guardians clubhouse with an outfield absolutely packed with left-handed hitters. And again, defensively, I'm not sure how he'd fit, but he could. Give Manzardo a day or two off at DH or CJ Cron or any of the other lefties in the outfield. It would be an amazing move. But of course, the Guardians refuse to spend a dime. The moral of this story is that I want Andrew McCutchen to be playing baseball in 2026. I don't care who gives him that chance, but we all know he wants it to be the Pirates because he alluded to it with Wainwright, right? Pujols, Yachty, Kershaw, Miggy, these were homegrown icons who were honored with a farewell tour, who were given the chance to shake hands and be celebrated every single night all across the country. And I would love nothing more than for McCutchen to have that. I truly hope the Pirates are the ones to give him that honor. Whether he's playing every day or not, I doubt he even cares, but when a lefty is on the mound, he can still inflict some serious damage. And there you have it. Another painful chapter in the books. For bearing witness to this, I thank every last one of you. My gratitude for your presence here is boundless. Let your conviction be known with a like, and join this chronicle by subscribing. A question has begun to echo a persistent whisper in the comments. Where does the guardian Grady my cat reside when these stories are forged? The truth is that in every account, every single chapter, he has been a silent observer right here among us. And so he slumbers perfectly serene while I unleash this storm of words into the microphone, a tempest of sound and fury. For being here through it all, you have my deepest thanks.